Welcome back to Investing in Welcome back to Investing in Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. My name is Josh Lilquist, and we were just talking about what's going on in these markets. Do we have a recession? Or what's going on with the Fed? You know, they potentially might be raising some interest rates again, and maybe another 0.75 of a point. Al says potentially a full point.
No, I said maybe it's possible they could raise 0.75 of a point twice before the end of the year.
There you go. Which, doing the math, that could be 1.5%.
Very good. I'm impressed.
Which is concerning for a lot of investors because people are long stocks, which means they own stock, but they continue to go down. So different strategies to protect those, but also how to prepare for that recession. If you did miss seats for that 3-day deep dive into the financial markets, we have a 3-day class that a lot of people have been coming into and just calling in to get into this class. So if you are a person that you know you want to be in the markets, or a trader or investor, or even just want to protect those portfolios, this 3-day class is for you. When you call in, you just mention you want the 3-day deep dive class, and we'll show you the dates and stuff. That way, you can pick the date that works for you. The tuition on that is only $99. Call right now. Call 888-682-6466 for 2 tickets. That's 888-682-6466 for 2 tickets for that class. It's only $99. And just mention that Josh says you want to come into the 3-day deep dive class. So Al, as we were talking about that in that last segment, was do we have a recession on the way as well? And it's really kind of, I would say, already started. I mean, year to date, you look at the S&P 500, which is kind of the overall market. I kind of use that as the overall strength or weakness of the market. But in 2022, we're down over 20%. As of the show here today, 23% it's down on the year, which is not good for investors, because if you have a 401k or an IRA, say you have $100,000 in there, you lost $23,000, potentially more if you're in mutual funds because of those fees. So we're seeing a lot of people that are coming to the academy right now because they want to be able to combat these declining markets, but also learn the strategies to profit as they go down. So let's talk about that here today. So Al, in your mind, recession is just a word, right? Once you understand how the market functions, there's strategies for up markets. There's also strategies for down markets. Mm-hmm. There's 3 things here, more than just stocks out there. How do you help people that come to the academy that want a strategy that's designed to hopefully benefit you no matter what happens with the economy or what happens with the markets?
Well, I think people are finally coming to the realization that what worked before isn't working anymore. What worked before worked because the Fed was keeping interest rates at zero. As I said in that first segment, they were soft too long, too soft too long, and they had interest rates at zero. They were pumping more money into the economy. Now they're doing the opposite. And what we're seeing is the impact of that. Here's the Fed's ideal situation might actually be where no one can afford a mortgage and no company can afford to get a loan or hire more people.
Well, that's what they're trying to do, because they're trying to strangle the economy to slow down inflation.
That's their goal, is to lower inflation, and they have said they're going to do whatever it takes to do that. That's why I said it's possible they could have 2 3/4-point moves before the end of the year. Initially, or not initially, but a few months ago, we were looking at a 3/4-point move and then a 0.5-point move by the end of the year. Yeah, that may change, but the Fed, if you listen to what the Fed governors have been saying, they have been saying, look, we're not getting where we want to get to fast enough, so they may be looking at inflicting more pain. That sounds like a bad thing, and for most people, the impact is going to be bad, but we have to get that inflation down. It doesn't mean that it has to be a bad thing for you. It doesn't have to impact you, because there are strategies and assets that you can use that are kind of anti-inflationary in their result. There are assets you can use when the market is going down. I mentioned in that first segment, this is the best environment we've seen for a long time. It's a perfect environment for traders. Traders are more short-term. That may be somebody who is – some people are day traders. Some people are what we call swing traders, which could be a couple weeks and maybe a month or so. You don't have to do this where you're sitting in front of a computer all the time, but there are assets and strategies you can use where you can pull cash out of the market on a short-term basis. And if you're looking for additional income, that's what you have to be able to do. This is perfect for traders, but it requires education to be able to do that. And if you look at what's happened since the pandemic has hit, there's been even a more widening gap, inequality gap in this country. And part of that reason is that a number of people were deeply involved in the market, and they had huge returns based on that. In fact, a article in the New York Times on that on inequality said people with greater education, advanced skills, and access to stock and real estate markets harvested the winnings of expansion while others struggled. Well, where do you get the education? That's what we do. The education is out there, people. There's no excuse for not having the ability to get educated because there are sources out there. We happen to be one of those sources. The advanced skills that the New York Times talked about, that's what we help our students do. It's not just providing knowledge, it's providing the skills to be able to use that knowledge. And that's really where we shine, I think, in that aspect. You have access to these markets. You have access to the equity markets. You have access to a number of different components of it. It's not just stock, which is what most people are familiar with, but especially for traders, for people looking at something other than a long-term portfolio, assets like the futures market, the forex market, the options market, those are perfect examples of assets that can take advantage of the market that we're seeing right now. Most of you don't know about them because Wall Street's not teaching you. Most of you don't know about them because the schools are not teaching you, and your parents and your friends probably don't know about them either. That's what we do. We're basically just teaching you the same things that Wall Street is using to be consistently successful in their trades. You know, it shouldn't be that that's just the knowledge that Wall Street has and that they benefit from and the public doesn't, because you have access to everything that they're using, almost everything they're using. It's just that nobody's teaching you how to do it. That's what we do. That's why we want you to come into these classes so you can at least get some information on what the different assets are, information on how you can participate in a down market and a sideways market, and how you can protect your assets. You think about it, if you have had a loss the first half of this year, did that have to happen? And we'll tell you, no, it didn't have to happen. You could have had protection. Could you have benefited? When the market is going down, it goes down faster than it goes up. That's when a lot of people, the real successful traders, that's when they have their greatest profits is in these down markets. You have access to the same things that can provide that benefit for you. That's what we talk about in these classes. So I'd say this may be the best time in your life to come in and get some knowledge. Maybe you'll decide that, the markets just aren't the right thing for me. I'm going to get another job, or I'm going to work overtime, or I'm just not going to retire. Or maybe you decide, there are some great benefits there. I'm going to take advantage of them. I'm going to take advantage of what other people that are successfully maneuvering these markets are doing and change my life, my financial life.
That is the key is, everybody wants to make money. That's always a thing that people want to do. But I think you brought up a great point here, is how can it change your life? How can financial security change your life? And you might need to learn different strategies to do that. If you've been doing the same thing over and over again, what do you expect to change? And that's why we're seeing, I think, what's really good about the Online Trading Academy is we're seeing so many people come in that want to do things a little bit differently and have more freedom with their lives. And we're a local source, a local place to go that has a community of traders and investors to learn from, but also trade with. And that's the key in the markets, is to not be doing it alone, because then you have many eyes to kind of help with your financial decisions. So we have investing classes so if you're the person that wants to just kind of see what it's all about and kind of dip your toe in the water, we have free investing classes for people to come in to see what it's all about. If these are for new people that maybe you're not even sure if you want to be in the market, but you want to see what's available to you. How do you have those strategies? What's available as far as income strategies or wealth strategies? That's what we cover in these classes. It's a 2-hour class. Al teaches these. I teach these as well. And it's a local place to go to learn how to get in the market if you're brand new. Even if you've been in the market and you're looking for more consistency, this will also help you as well. You can text right now for 2 tickets for this class. You can text the word investing to the number 210 right now for 2 tickets. So most people bring their spouse. We're seeing more people bring their college or high school age kids in as well.
Right.
So text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 free tickets. When you do that right now as well, you're going to receive a quick start kit. And that quick start kit, it's a financial quick start kit that will help you get started right away. And once you text in, we'll get you a text right back to find a date that works for you. We have these during the week. We also have these on the weekend. So, Al, with the markets showing downward movements, how does somebody profit in the down market? How does that actually happen?
Yeah, it's pretty much the opposite of what you do in an up market. Most people are, if they have any experience in the markets, they are on what we call the long side. In other words, you're investing in something that will only profit you if the price of that asset goes up in value, kind of the long side, the bull side of the market, so to speak. But that only happens about half the time. There are periods of time when the market goes down, when the market is sideways. And if you think about it, if you're only participating in an up market, you may be kind of sitting on the sidelines or losing out on 50 to 60% of the opportunities that are available to you. You can benefit in a down market in a number of ways. Shorting the market is one way to do it. We'll go into that in these classes that Josh has been talking about. But basically, it's selling something, borrowing something to sell, and then buying it back at a lower price to return it, just to keep it in simple terms. That's one way of doing it. You cannot do that in a retirement account, however, but there are other things that kind of mimic that. The goal there on the downside is to benefit, to have a profit when the market goes down. Shorting is one. There is an option strategy that you can use. It will go up in value as the underlying goes down. An option is a contract on something that's the underlying. Could be stock or an exchange-traded fund or maybe a futures contract. But there is an option that will go up as that underlying goes down. There are futures and forex contracts. You can sell them. You don't have to go long. You can sell them without actually using that short strategy. There are what we call inverse exchange-traded funds. An exchange-traded fund is similar to a mutual fund. It's a basket of stocks that mimic something. It could be mimicking the S&P 500 or the Dow or the NASDAQ or technology stocks or financial companies. The inverse goes the opposite direction. So if that index or that sector goes up, it goes down, that inverse ETF is going to go up in value. So there's another way. There's several ways that you can benefit in a down market, and we'll talk to you about those in this class. And it's not that complicated to use them. It's just as easy as buying a stock and having it go up in value or hoping it goes up in value. It's just basically pushing a button on a symbol and benefiting in a down market.
Yeah, it's just different strategies for different directions. If you think about it, too, you want to be ahead of the public if you think about it, because TV right now is saying we might have a recession. Well, when's the best time to prepare for a snowstorm? Before it actually happens. And that's why you want to be able to prepare for this recession that might be happening. Don't feel it's a bad thing for everybody. It's a good thing if you know how to use the markets. And these strategies for down markets to profit, it's just a different direction. It's kind of like having a car. You drive in forward and you also drive in reverse. Is how to get to your destination the quickest way possible so you're not just driving in circles. We have these free investing classes for people to come to see what these strategies are. How do you profit in down markets? How do you profit in IRAs in down markets? Yes, it is possible. Al was talking about options. We'll talk about that in the next section. But you can text right now for 2 tickets to dip your toe in the water to see how these markets work. And what are some of the strategies you may be able to use moving forward? Text the word investing to the number 210, and this is for 2 free tickets. Most people bring their spouse with. Text the word investing to the number 210. You're also going to receive a financial quick start kit, and this kit will help you get started right away, but also has some free stock picks in there showing the supply and demand strategy, kind of what it looks like on a price chart. That's where we make our financial decisions. We're going to talk about that coming up next as well. So, Al, with that, coming up next, we are going to talk more strategies for down markets, but especially in 401ks and IRAs, how to protect those, but also benefit as it goes down. This is Josh and Al. We will be right back. Take it easy.